recording right now. I always forget, so that part is done. All right, so this is effectively the Locker Room Expansion Partners group coaching for leadership. I love these kinds of masterminds because you guys are leaders and we get to have really great high-level conversations, and they're my favorite conversations to have. I love leaders, I love coaching leaders, and I know a lot of the people from the locker room are devoted to helping leadership grow. So thank you for being here today. We are going to, I'm kind of pivoting a little bit from what I was originally going to talk about and kind of framing it inside of our current status of the world's framework. Like, how else could I, right? Like, we have to do that. So I really want to draw attention to the fact that we are being called to do things as leaders that we don't have to do on a normal basis. We usually can just go about our life and do our thing, but now people are looking to us for answers and positivity and all that. So what is your general temperature as a leader? Tell me how you feel as far as what's being asked of you and the skill sets that you have and how you're doing that as a leader. So Nathan, can you tell us?
Wow. Good question. Really just adapting to technology and helping people make that transition, I think, has been a big one. I've been getting a lot of questions how to do virtual open houses and what steps to do that. And it's actually one really cool thing is they're not having to put as many signs out. And I'm like, so take that same sign budget that you would lose every single week and put it towards a Facebook ad. And so then now they're actually getting traffic, they're getting leads online, and they're getting, some recognition that way. So that's a little bit.
That's awesome. Anybody else care to share different things they're having to do, creativity that they're exploring now with this crisis in place?
I think for us, it's just to touch base with what Nathan was saying. It's the technology aspect of it. It's being able to do virtual tours for closing walkthroughs, because closings are still happening. I don't know what's going on with you guys in your location, but we're still doing closings. We've just been shut down from doing all showings for new activity. So yeah, it's just doing virtual stuff for the closings.
Awesome. And TJ, haven't ever had a chance to meet you before. I'm Jennifer Henry in Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm the regional director for the locker room here in this region. Are you a broker in your market?
Yep, broker in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, so you're Kristen's person.
I am Kristen's person. Kristen is my person.
Okay, she's my person, actually. Just saying.
Yeah, there's going to be more than enough for me to go around once this COVID-19 thing is over. So don't worry about it.
Your children need you, all of you. So you. All right. So today I'm kind of mirroring the group coaching I did for agents a few weeks ago, Kristen, where we talked about how we think. One of the things I have found as a leader, I coach agents all day long and I coach leadership. I have found the best thing that I can do to help agents right now is to help them think positively. If we can get them thinking right, we can get them acting right. And so, and performing and feeling right. So what I'm going to do is just share with you, oh, that's not supposed to be there. Anyway, share with you the thinking loop very quickly. I'm going to do a quick run through of what I teach agents about thinking. And then of course, I ask for you to apply this to anything in your world so that you can help agents keep their thinking in line. Again, if you can get them thinking straight, you can get them feeling right, they'll do the right thing. So we start with circumstances. And again, I'm going to go through this really quick. This is a loop that happens in all of our brains. We have a circumstance. Forget that number 5. I don't know what happened, why that's even there. Forget that. There's a circumstance that happens. What is our current circumstance? Starts with a C. Coronavirus. Coronavirus, the COVID-19, right? That's our circumstance. Circumstances are neutral. They're not positive or negative. We attach positive or negativity to it. When a circumstance occurs, each of us individually, our brains have a thought about the circumstance that attaches the positive or negative. The body creates a feeling, which is a chemical reaction around that thought. That feeling causes an action or a non-action, and that action or non-action creates results, resulting in a loop. And this happens in our brains subconsciously all day long. We know this. Our agents are doing this all day long. The part where you can come in as a leader and help agents with their feelings and their actions or non-actions, their results or their non-results during this time, is the realization that most people think we go from circumstance to feeling. there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. I'm scared. Or let me back up. Let me say it again. COVID-19 is taking over the world. I'm scared. Well, in between the circumstance, there was a thought. You didn't go straight to feelings. You had a thought. And so it's important that we recognize that circumstances don't create our feelings, our thoughts do. So right here at number 2 is where you can come in and impact the people that you serve at the highest level by challenging their thinking. It's really simple. The way I do this with my agents is I ask them, what story have they attached to the circumstance? And usually they go, what are you talking about? But when you really dig into asking them to identify it, a lot of times they're even unaware they had a story attached to it. So for example, in the case of our current world climate, we do have a rampant virus that's killing a bunch of people. That is happening, yes. The thought could be, it's going to kill me and my family. I'm going to lose all my money. I'm going to lose my house, whatever, thoughts occur. That in fact then creates feelings and so on and so forth. So if you can prevent this from going down the rabbit hole by challenging it and interrogating it, you can really impact this, which impacts this, which impacts this. The easiest way to do this is to say, what story have you attached to that? What thought did you have that made you feel that way? So when an agent says, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling defeated, I'm feeling isolated, whatever it is, what thought did you have to create that feeling? And again, you may have to dig into that. But once you do that, they start realizing, oh, and so you could ask them, what's a better thought you could have to create a better feeling? And in doing that, they have to start now stretching their brains to think about new things. So this is just a little training topic on the thinking loop. I use this very effectively in my business and in my coaching all the time. My clients now know me for this. So remember, thought is where we can help people create change. All right, so that's the training. Now I want to kind of get to a little conversation with you. I pulled this off of our locker room page. I thought it was so fantastic. This is exactly what I'm talking about here. We have to have a mindset shift as leaders. We have to lead our people to have mindset shifts. I've been doing it for the last week, shifting people from here to here. And it's incredible when you guide them down this path, how much more effective they feel and how much more powerful they'll act. So you can see the shifts here. I'm stuck at home. I get to be safe at home in my family and spend time with my family. I will get sick. I will self-isolate and wash my hands, and this will significantly decrease my chances of getting sick. So you can even feel the differences between how these are negative and how these are positive. I will run out of items at home during self-isolation. I have prepared for this, and I will use my items wisely. I have everything I need for now. And again, these are kind of worldwide and neutral. In a minute, I want to kind of open this up to what it's going to look like for a real estate agent. Everything is shutting down and panicking. There is too much uncertainty right now. Again, you can see the shift. So what we think about over here is negative. It's going to create negative, panicky anxiety. Over here is going to create problem-solving, solution mindset, certainty, hope, those positive feelings that will in turn create better results. So I'm going to open it up now for us to talk about as leaders after that little tutorial about what mindset shifts we may need to guide our agents through if you haven't already. And I'll start by saying that I had a huge opportunity on a group coaching session the other day. An agent said she has a seller with 2 $600,000 listings. And she said, I think I'm not going to list them. And I asked her why, what was her thought process around that? And she said, because there's so much uncertainty, I don't feel comfortable pricing them today. Now, my initial reaction is, you need that money, girl. You need those listings. Get that thing on the market. Get them on the market. But she had completely convinced herself in fear that she shouldn't take these listings. So I had to guide her through this process of what's a new way of thinking about this that would give you more power and more confidence to list those properties. And in turn, she ended up coming around and realizing she was acting out of fear. So that was one of the examples that I had. And I had her shift from it's so uncertain tomorrow to it's always been uncertain. You know what I mean? Like whenever we price a home, guys, think about it. Whenever we price a property, we're always assuming everything's going to stay the same. But it isn't guaranteed, is it? So this is not any different than any other uncertainty. This is just more widespread. Can we all agree with that? So has anybody here had any agents or any people under your leadership that you have noticed that has maybe need a mindset shift?
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. How have you navigated that, Sarah?
Honestly, I'm sending constant like motivational things right now out and being confident and having faith that we're going to get through this together. And just kind of reassuring, that we have to step outside the box right now and choose to look at things differently and make some changes maybe before most people do, right? So we have to be willing to like fail forward. And I like to think of it, because I'm a really visual person, when you're failing forward, I think we tend to take 20 steps forward and then have a step that's a fail forward step, and then 5 steps forward and then have a step that's a fail forward step. For me, I feel like we're tripping every step we go right now, but it's better to be moving and tripping moving forward than it is to be standing still, because none of us are going to survive this if we stand still.
Great advice.
And I've turned it into almost like, think of it as somewhat of an opportunity. Like right now, you don't have all the time out showing houses and on listing appointments and stuff. Like we as a firm, we just implemented a new CRM software. So use this downtime to upload all of your sphere and all of your network into your CRM, edit your websites, get everything up to date, reach out to your sphere. So use it more, think of it more as an opportunity, I think.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. So positive, motivating things and keeping that in front of our people, reminding them of the opportunity at hand, reminding them that uncertainty has always been where we've lived. We just aren't as aware of it as we are now. That's really great. Anybody else care to share kind of mindset shifts that you have had or that you've led people through? I'll share another one while you think about it. I was starting to feel myself a week and a half ago, a little bit nervous about just everything going on and my financial stability with my family. We're going through some big financial cleanup, and this was just really halting all of our plans. And I started feeling supreme disappointment. Not gonna lie. And I've been working on a lot of things, and all of a sudden everything's just stopped. You guys know what I mean. And I had this mindset of this is happening to me. And then when I shifted my mindset to this is happening to every human being with a pulse, I felt instantly so connected to humanity at large. And I realized nothing that could happen to me is not going to happen to everyone. And in different forms and fashions. But nonetheless, we are all in this together. And suddenly I felt more connected to my world, and my isolation that I was feeling became suddenly inclusion, and I felt a part of something much bigger than myself. So that feeling then caused me to act differently. I started putting some courses together. I started really leaning into my strengths to be able to create better value for the world at large. So I experienced it myself too. I think it's really important that we do that. A couple of things to think about. I don't know about you guys, but one of the biggest frustrating things that I have with agents is when they say they don't have time. So TJ, to your point, now you have time. What's your excuse, right? They also get so caught up in driving showings and home inspections and closings. Well, here's what I'm going to say about this. If you can run a successful real estate business from your home now, why can't you do it later? How much more effective are you going to be in the world in your business when you manage this home time effectively? So again, it's like this is a gift. We've been given a gift to slow down and refigure things out, because I don't know about you guys, but again, I feel like I'm constantly fighting agents about the misuse of their time and this constant desire to be on the clock, constantly going. It's the pandemic, honestly, this constant draw of our attention. So I'm excited about it. And again, that's a whole different thing for me than where I was a week or two ago. And I know we can help our agents with that as well.
Yeah, I know for me, I just had this thought. I'm like, what you were saying is so true. Because imagine now teaching somebody how to actually do listing presentations and buyer presentations on Zoom 100% of the time. Like, imagine you don't actually go to the house to actually do your presentation anymore. You make the agreement, you get it all done before you go out there, and then you get out there and do pictures or whatever at that point. I'm like, that's so much more efficient because you can do it from anywhere. I could be on the beach and take a listing, right?
That's right. I mean, it literally just freed us up.
Yeah.
And again, I'll say it. If you can put these things in place now, even if you decided to go back to the old way when this thing passes, think about how much more time you're going to have. Like if you decide to go back out and start going to your inspections and doing all those things again, just recognize how much time you have taken the same 24 hours, compacted it, and created so much more efficiency, and just how much more effective you're going to be in your business when this has passed. So this is a great cleanup of humanity, if you will, cleanup of our time, cleanup of our energy, cleanup of our focus. So I'm personally now officially excited. And I work for a company that's 100% virtual and offers virtual resources to all our broker partners. So yay, the locker room. I have had more brokers reaching out to me asking for services that I had just been knocking on their door before, trying to show them what we have. Now they really need it. And so I'm thankful I can provide that service. All right, so anybody else care to add to the conversation around the mindset shift that we need to have and that we need to guide our people through? Okay, cool. All right, I got this quote the other day and I thought it was so good. When your people, when your friends, when your family are panicking about the future, this is my go-to lately. How can you do the next 24 hours well? That's it. And I'm pardon my dog barking in the background, my fur child. How can you do the next 24 hours really well? This again is a coaching leadership question. Again, I put it into a question. It's, what do you need to be doing? What's your one thing? We're back to just get focused on right now. Granted, we don't know what tomorrow's going to hold, but I go back to it again. We never did. We never did. Today is the day that we have been given. So how do we do it well? What do you need to work on today that's screaming for attention? Your CRM. Let's get to work on that. One of the other things that I have discovered and been coaching around is that pressure creates an awareness around what hasn't been working well. Pressure inside of our systems, if there's pressure put on our business, it will reveal what we need to work on. So this is a time when agents are feeling pressure, ask them, what is your business telling you it needs right now? Maybe it's your CRM, maybe it's a better social media presence. You know, what is it that your business needs right now? So again, that pressure is going to help us. And then that will help us decide where to spend our time. And so again, leaning into the time that we've been given to, and guiding our agents to recognize that. So I heard a great quote today I'm going to read to you guys. It says, this is Martin Luther King Jr. He said, we must accept finite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope. So yes, we can be disappointed. We can decide, you know, that the finite stuff, we can be disappointed about that. But ultimately, we never want to lose hope about what's possible. And I'm really holding on to that for myself and my business and for you and yours. And then as leaders, really deciding that it's our responsibility to guide our people down this thought process that's going to lead them to the opportunities and to the increase in their business when this is over. So I'm going to open it up to you. Tell me what your thoughts are. Again, beyond that point, that was really what I had to present to you today. So I just would like a conversation around other ways that you're doing that inside of your market. Nathan said he was doing his videos. TJ's getting his agents working on their CRMs. Sarah's sending motivational things and staying positive in front of people. What about the rest of you?
I think it's also reassuring them that when the market does, or when this ban gets lifted, the general thought in our market is that it's going to be hotter than ever because we've had a lack of inventory. So when the inventory, when this comes back up, we're going to have the inventory that should have been hitting the market then, but also the influx of inventory that's getting back right now.
Yeah.
So it's almost, it's encouraging them that market's going to be better than ever when this does settle down.
That's awesome. Yes. There's a demand like growing right now, like in that pressure and that demand is going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
There are people sitting at home looking at realtor.com, but they can't go see the house.
That's a good point.
Yeah. They want to get out there and they're like, I want to go see this house. And so as soon as that's lifted, or as soon as the coast is clear, these people are going to be out there looking for their realtors, and if not already, finding them online. So that's a great perspective, reminding them that the rebound could be quite tremendous for all of us. That's great.
The other thing too is also encouraging them not to stop completely. Like, we're not allowed to do business outside of our house right now, but we, like, TJ, do you know Donalyn Jordan?
Yeah.
She did a virtual open house on Sunday. Her seller did like a Facebook tour, a Facebook live walkthrough of her house, and they got 2 offers. It's like, it doesn't even matter. So, but what they did was, what I talked to her in detail about it because I was curious, how does that work? And she said that her seller did a Facebook live, and Donna attended. And so Donna would like type in the comments as the seller was going through. And then afterwards, people wrote an offer, their agent wrote an offer for them, but then the buyer just went to the house and the seller just opened it for them. So it's risky, like, a little bit. And I'm sure that, I think our board probably will come out with something that protects the buyer's agent for that, as well as the seller's agent. But I think there are ways to keep working.
100%. So here one of my broker partners wrote up a protocol for her agents, and it said that her agent, even though we're not on lockdown, we are still conducting service. It's an essential service here in Florida. So we haven't been told we can't, but then nobody wants to get sick. So we're still trying to be safe. But the protocol there was that they would allow the agent to do an open house virtually, which the agent was there with her phone, showing it around. And then if anyone, her call to action at the open house, I thought this was brilliant, was if you want a private tour, message me and I'll stay today and do tours. And so she scheduled out 3 or 4 private tours, okay, where she literally had only them on Zoom, because Zoom can do Facebook now. And then she talked to them walking through the house, or she did FaceTime. And then the next step was, if anyone wanted to write to see it in person, they had to have an executed contract with a first right of, or a what's it called? Where you have to see it to close. What's that called? I'm drawing a blank.
A contingency.
Yeah. But there's a word for it. I can't remember now what it is. Okay. Well, anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a broker and I'm drawing a blank. So it basically was a contingency that said that they have 10 days to see it, or 15 days to see it, but they had to have an executed offer. Did anybody think of the name of that word I'm thinking of? No? Oh my gosh.
Addendum?
A right of first refusal?
Yeah, it sounds like that, but it's sight unseen contingency.
Oh yeah.
Sight unseen. Yes. Oh my gosh. A sight unseen contingency that basically allows them so many days to come in and see it. So the only way they could get into the house with sanitation in place, obviously following certain protocols, was with an executed contract.
Yeah.
That's
with
what
a
call
non-refundable deposit or something like that, just so you don't get any Joe Schmo just putting in any offers?
Not necessarily. No, as far as I know, no. But that's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
A small, like, I don't know,
I did that.
$150 non-refundable deposit or something.
Yeah, maybe something small.
I did or you can do a holdback. Like I did, because Kristen and I were talking about this yesterday. I did a class on this yesterday, and that was one of my suggestions. Exactly what you said. Like, last year alone, I think I wrote 7 deals at our team for sight unseen. And that had nothing to do with us being in a situation like this. It was strictly because of the distance and timing, and a couple were doctors, so the sellers couldn't accommodate the time frame of the showings. So, however, they could conduct a final walkthrough. So I think the biggest thing is, asking your attorney, going to your lender and saying, hey, is something like this acceptable? If the buyer can't access the house, or the comfortability level isn't there to do that, right now they can do a final walkthrough in New York State. But if they're not comfortable with that, for whatever reason, then saying, can the seller FaceTime with our buyer and walk through and show them the house, and we can be, on that call or whatever. But I think that the sight unseen thing is what we absolutely have to encourage. We just put out a letter to all of our active clients saying, hey, don't be fearful of what's going on. Like, we can still conduct business. It's just going to be in a new way. And here's the steps. And sight unseen is something that we're entirely encouraging.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's face it, with FaceTime, floor plans, surveys, I mean, you're seeing everything. You can even have a stager do a virtual placement of furniture for you. But the only thing that the sight unseen is really covering is the general feeling of the house. I mean, the only thing they're missing is smell at that point and feeling. And I know as a woman, I can walk into a house and feel whether I like it. I don't know if you dudes have that same gift, but I can walk in and it has a feeling about it. So, and then of course, I think smell is really important. But other than that, if an agent's doing a drive in the neighborhood and they're doing Google Earth and they've got surveys and floor plans, yes, we should do the sight unseen, but keep in mind that the only thing at that point they're restricted from are those couple of intangibles. So yeah, where there's a will, there's a way, right? And that's what we need to encourage our people to do. My house is currently on the market. It's been on the market for 20 days. And I have had more showings and more activity and more offers. And now we finally are under contract. But I will tell you, I am a seller in today's market, and I still want to sell, and I'm still making it happen. And I'm gonna do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. So if I'm feeling that way, other people are feeling that way too. Motivated sellers and buyers will do what they need to do. So we just need to be reminding our people of the opportunities at hand, of the pivot that we need to be making, and supporting them first and foremost up here, you guys. Up here. 90% of what our success is in our head. That's a scientific thing. I don't know where that number comes from, but it's what I've heard multiple times over and over and over again over the years. So we've got to work on the 90% of our agents, the 90% right here. The rest of it will follow. The resourcefulness will follow. The activities will follow. Just got to keep them thinking straight. All right. Any other final thoughts? Anything else you guys want to share? Well, I appreciate you all being here with us today. I hope this has been helpful to you. The Locker Room wants to always continue to provide great resources and tools. So if there's something you need, let us know, let your regional director know, let your coach know, whoever you're in business with, so that we can continue to bring you guys great value, even if it's virtually and far apart.
Thanks, Jen.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.